I ain't trying to do what everybody else doing, just cause everybody doing what they all doing. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I go home. So am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see. Am I tripping for having a vision? My prediction, I'ma be on top of the world. Don't look back, always do what you decide. Don't control your life, that's just how I feel. Ooh, like yours, so don't let go. Don't let them compare you, no. Don't worry, you're not alone. That's just how I feel. Am I wrong?
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Or should I say good afternoon, actually. It's after 12. Welcome, everyone. Just before we get started, we're about to get started in the next 2 minutes. We have a special guest speaker in the house, and I'm super excited. I can see the chat pretty much going off. Everyone's ready and excited for this call, and you should all be, because a lot of work has gone behind this particular call, which is the Forex mastery. We're going to get started shortly, but here's what I want to do, right? I want to make sure that this call is fair for every single person, and that you have played a part as a team to make sure that you have announced this, you've promoted this. All right. If you guys look on the chat right now, you see that there's somebody missing that you know personally that should be on this call. All right. So we're going to get started in the next 2 minutes, but here's all I'm asking you to do. Play team, okay? Play team. Get this information sent out to somebody that you know should be on this call. You can still send this call to 5 people in your contact book that want to learn how to make money, want to learn how to maximize their income. They want to learn a new strategy, want to learn a new skill. You know somebody that's been complaining about, hey, listen, this isn't working for me. Guess what? You have the one and only, right? Mr. Clifford Chequona on this call. He's going to be sharing some highlights on his journey, and he's going to be giving us strategies and methods on exactly how to win big with Forex trading. So before we get started, go on your group chats, message somebody, post this out on your social media. If you have to go live, go live. Just make sure that the word gets out enough for people to know that this is going down. All right. So we're going to get started in the next 2 minutes. Let's go.
Tell me I'm wrong. I don't wanna be right. If you tell me I'm wrong, I don't wanna be right. If you tell me for trying to reach the things that I can't see. But that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. Trying to reach the things that I can't see. So am I wrong for thinking that we could be something for real? Now am I wrong for trying to reach the things that I can't see? That's just how.
Okay. Well, firstly and foremost, I want to say good afternoon to each and every one of you. Hope you guys can see me. All right. And I hope you all are excited about today's call. All right. So firstly, I'm excited. I'm excited for the fact that we have this call. I'm excited for the individual that we have on this call. I'm also excited. Just came back from holiday, feel recharged, feel refreshed. Myself alongside some of my business partner, my friends. We traveled out to Dubai. Recently just got back, so I feel good. I'm excited. So you guys are gonna tell by my energy, right? Okay, I can see Gemma on screen. All right, hi Gems. All right, so look, ladies and gents, look, we are gonna get fired away, but before we do, right, I want to make sure that you guys can see me. You guys are feeling my energy. You guys are excited about this call. So all I want you to just do right now is drop a 777 on the chat. All right, if you are ready for today's call, right? Okay. Calls like this, I take them super serious because when you have somebody like the name Clifford Chequona, right? On the call like this, you know that it means business. You know that there is something for you to take away from this call. So, I've had the privilege to do calls with Mr. Clifford and outstanding calls, right? And you guys are going to hear from him. He's our director when it comes to the Forex trading side of things in our company, which is Arise Academy, next Arise. And so I'm excited about you guys actually listening to him. But here's what I want you to do also, right? I want to make sure that you guys are actually in a space that you're ready for this. If you're on the move, if you're doing something, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Stay put. Find a place where you can sit down, take notes, right? This is going to be recorded, but it doesn't mean that it might be available for every single person, right? So I want to make sure that you do your own, you take your own notes, because this is how you learn, this is how you grow. Okay. Now, for those that don't know who I am, my name is John Ollard. I'm a part of the company Next to Rise, because I know we have some people that are not involved in our business. You might just be a customer of Arise Academy. So I'm one of the leaders in the business, and I've had great success with this company. And I didn't always come from a successful background. It's something that I grew into, and I'm grateful for where I am today with the company. And now I'm excited with what you can do, how you can position yourself to win with this particular company, with this platform in itself. And we're going to have many calls like this that will help people grow their skill set, will help people grow their mindset, just to help you equip yourself. Yesterday I actually received a phone call from somebody who I pushed into Arise Academy, and she called me last night. She goes, look, the purpose of the call was to show my gratitude, because every single day I've been making money with the Arise Academy. But I remember when she first started, it was like trying to push a rock. It was like you had to tell her over and over and over again. But to be able to see how she's grown over a period of time, and to see the skill set that she's generated from this platform, is amazing to see people seeing people get consistent results. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I don't want to take too much time. I want to make sure that Mr. Clifford Chequona has a lot of time on this call to be able to deliver what he wants to share with everyone. By the way, if you guys can come on camera, feel free to, by all means. We'll be taking any questions at the end. Okay, so first and foremost, it's my privilege, my honor to be calling on the call, to be sharing his segments. All right. And, to be sharing what trading has really done for him. Okay. To be sharing his background, but at the same time, to be sharing with each and every one of us, okay, how we can take this to a whole new level. Where could we be in the next 6 months with Arise Academy? Where could we be in the next 9 months, in the next 1 year with Arise Academy? I didn't come from a trading background. It was people like Mr. Clifford Chequona, who I learned from, right? Who I learned from under his mentorship, to be able to do what I can do with the Forex platform today, okay? So take some notes, and it's showtime. So Mr. Clifford, if you're on a call, feel free, over to you. Let's take it away.
Wow. Can you guys hear me? So one of my so I had two devices joined right now so that people can hear me clearly. So the one with the video doesn't have an audio, but then I don't know how you're gonna do it so that they can see me and hear me clearly. But John, thank you so much, brother. You yourself, I think this is one of the calls again that we are doing together, and every single time that we do these calls, in fact, one of the last message that John said to me, he said, "Of course, it's for the people," and that is one thing that I've realized about John is that the vision, the goals, anytime that you find anything that he is doing is about the people. And when I was coming on this call, I was like, a person like this and how he wants every single person to see the vision. What exactly should I come here to teach? Because it's about the people. And the reason why we connect easily is because if you guys have realized, I always say that I want to impact by the grace of God millions of lives. And then I cannot do it alone. So when I come across people like John himself, it is much more easier to know that someone's heart is truly connected to the vision like that. John, I really just want to say thank you so much for bringing me on this call. And also, I would like to honor each and every single person on this call. Please, if you receive me on this call today, drop some number ones in the chat before I even take it out from there. So if you guys can hear me clearly, if you guys can see me, that is amazing. God bless you all. I really appreciate you all. So guys, my name is Clifford. Some of you guys already do know me based on the sessions that we have. Some of you guys don't, but then the purpose of this call basically is not about me. As I started in the beginning, it's not about me. It's all about you guys. So I'm praying by the grace of God at the end of this call, you will not leave the same way again. Not that I'm come to say something you've probably not heard it before. Not that I'm about to say something that is going to blow your mind. In fact, if it does blow your mind, okay, I'm sorry. But then the purpose of this call is to be able to make sure that if you get started today, how do you move from A to B with a system? So I'm not just teaching only you to know, but I'm teaching so that you can even duplicate it to be able to help numbers and numbers of people yourself. I always tell people on my calls, I said, the goal is not to just teach you for you to come on a call and it's like when Cliff is not there, then you can't do anything by yourself. The goal is that you can duplicate what you learn yourself. It saves me more energy, to be honest. So guys, my name is Clifford. Chequona, I've been trading for, I think this year, by the grace of God, that should be 8 years. Now, in that journey, it's not all sweet. It started just like you, confused, not knowing what I was doing. The only difference between you and I is I couldn't get someone on time to direct me to not make some certain mistakes. So you will find out that normally how I teach is purely based on my experience. And then also the things I've gone through. So 8 years in the journey, I started just like anybody else, using MT4, using this, using that, went so on and so on, learned different couple of strategies, as you can say. It got to a point, I have this thing that I say that it got to a point I had to quit. I either had to quit, like people that goes like, this is not for me, blah, 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 blah. But then they go around the world spending money. If Forex is not for you, then why do you have money in your pocket? So you are part of the industry, whether you like it or not. So you might as well just get some information and be enlightened. So I told myself I quit, but I quit the right way. How do you quit the right way? Quit the bad habits, Cliff. Stop being delusional. Be serious about this industry. It's a business. You don't have to joke with it. So during that process, I started going through things that I'm supposed to go through, started quitting some habits I'm meant to quit. So when you look at my line of how I teach, you will normally find more of management and psychology. That doesn't mean that is the only way to make money in this industry, no. But that is how I survived. So today on this call, my goal is to be able to help you to learn how not only to make money, but to be able to make it with confidence, knowing that if I duplicate this over and over and over again, I will make money consistently. Everybody just write down your book, systems. Systems. Systems is one of the ways that I will only always say has been able to help me. Now, the reason why I am cutting short of my story is because some people might find it me being cocky. There is so many things I can say. I can tell you how many people I've mentored personally, organization-wise, but I don't like doing that because at the end of the day, it brings attention on me. But then as time goes on, if you get to, work with me more, you will know more about me and what I'm doing, you will see it. But some of the things that I would just mention a little bit, they say if you want to follow a man, find out about him and see if you can trust him. So before we talk about the system, as you can see, as John said, I've mentored quite a number of people, also by the privilege in Arise Academy myself. In total, I've mentored a lot of people. I will not mention the figure because then now let me talk about the company I used to be in and all of that. I don't want to do that on the spot. So basically, right now, currently, my number one goal is everything that I went through, that it was painful, the tears, the crying times. How do I make sure somebody doesn't go through that? That is my goal. I've cried before. I've prayed over my account before. Nothing changed. The account blew. And I realized that trading is about principles. So when you follow a system, there is a saying, is we walk. Yeah. We walk by common sense, right? And then we run by you having some sort of principles, but then you can only fly by instructions. It's as simple as that. So if you're on this call and you want to go to the next level of, flying and all that, it comes with instructions, systems. Why are we going to be talking about systems today? The range of today's session is going to be in this space. As a beginner, how do you learn? Do you learn everything? For example, imagine yourself being a medical doctor. Do you all of a sudden just learn everything just because you want to be a medical doctor? No, they start teaching you step by step, anatomy, physiology. They teach you different couple of things. Does that make sense? So that you can be able to arrange the body of knowledge in a way that you don't become overwhelmed. Because there is something in this industry, and it is true. It is called analysis paralysis. As much as you can learn everything, you don't want to end up being paralyzed. So it is true that a whole lot of information is on YouTube here and there, but that is the number one goal of what we are doing in Arise Academy, is to organize a system of knowledge. And a lot of people may not understand, because I know after some people come on these calls and our webinars, they go back again on YouTube. I get it. Does that make sense? Yeah, you're welcome. So at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is you want to be able to have a system. So I'm going to be talking about some few things before we go on. Okay. So guys, listen to this. When you get started, I'm going to go through this faster. When you get started, let me just go through my notes. So when we get started in trading, everybody wants to make money. And it was the same for me. Did I make money soon? No, I didn't. Why? Part of it was my fault. Part of it was ignorance. And part of it was me being delusional. Part of it was me not understanding the principles. For example, you don't just wake up one day morning and you have all the money in the world. No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, if you want to be able to make money in trading, it is not as different from making money in any industry. This is the number one truth I came to realize that a lot of people want to pass by. It's the same way you will run a coffee shop. It's the same way you should run a trading business. It's no different. So I can give you all the strategies in the world. If your financial thermostat is 0, you will find yourself somehow getting back again to the same amount of money you deserve. Because according to the law of finances, your income grows to the extent you grow. So people don't go on calls like, what John and all the top leaders, Stephen Navarro, Gemma, all these leaders, what they're doing. I know some people will be like, that is not me. I'm only for trading. But they think as long as they get a strategy from Cliff, from Reese, from Nestle, then it's good to go. You lying. There was a woman that I was mentoring one time, and this woman did everything that she had to do. She traded every way that she has to trade. She grew an account. She took trade ideas and all that. Got to a point, the daughter came, picked up the phone, was playing with her phone, for some reason, ended up on MT4 and blew the account. And she was like, I don't get it. What happened? I didn't even get it either at that time until I read The Secret of the Millionaire Man. I was like, oh, her financial thermostat. It makes sense now. It was even happening to me. At some point, I can get any amount of money in the world. The next day, I might hit my head on the wall, take that money to the hospital. Yes, I know how to trade. Yes, I can do other businesses. But what was missing wasn't the strategy. So the first thing I want us to establish before we even go on to technicals is that it is not different from any other business. Just like how you will grow a multi-million-dollar company, it's the same way you need to grow your portfolio in this industry. So if your mindset is bad, it will reflect in your account. It's as simple as that. So when you wake up and you're reading Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, you're not reading it because you think that it's a different thing from you trading. It's the same thing. You need to develop yourself. That was what was missing. So I'm saving you money, time, and energy for you not to confuse yourself thinking all you have to do is to find a strategy, kill zones, sniper entries. I can assure you that will work, but the income won't come. It's a law. If you pick sodium and chlorine, both of them separately is a poison. Add them together as a salt. Do that anywhere in this world, it will duplicate that compound. If you pick up a kerosene and then you put it on charcoal and you put a matches on it, it will light up. You can do that in Ghana. You can do that in the UK. You can do that in France, wherever. Why? It's a law. So that means if you want to make money in this industry, don't eliminate these fundamentals. I wanted to just establish this so that we can be able to be on the same page. Guys, does that make sense? Please drop some number ones in the chat for me if you guys are with me right now. Perfect. So now, very simple. You get started in trading. You want to be able to make money. Cool. Let's talk about these simple fundamentals before we move on to the next one. First of all is how. I always teach this, but I'm teaching this to establish something. I'm going to be teaching three things today. Number one, we're going to be talking about the beginner. How do you not confuse yourself? When you have slided away from everything, what next do you do? And then how do you manage your portfolio? These three things. Mr. John, if this is enough, can you let me know in the chat? So these three things, how to be able to clear your mind from being overwhelmed. Number two is how to be able to what to learn to be on the right path as a trader becoming advanced. And number three is management, not just 0.01 management, actual management. Hopefully my time I have will be able to permit us to do this. So the first thing I'm not going to go into it deeper is this: how, when, what, and what. How, when, what, and what. I'm going through faster. How do you trade? How do you thank you so much, sir. So how do you trade? Very, very simple. You trade. Guys, let me help me here so that we can be able to be on the same page, okay? So how do you trade? I'm not talking about you strategies now. Don't be too quick going into strategies. How do you trade? The simple question I'm asking and the answer I want is very simple. How is very simple. Trade with my hands. As simple as that. I need simple answers. No, you are right. I need simple answers. I don't want no complicated market structure. Don't do that. How do you trade? You trade with a device. I trade with my phone. I have my laptop here. I trade, with a broker account, with fingers. You type. I trade with very simple. Don't complicate it. If I ask you, how do you serve someone in a coffee shop? You don't go like, I walk 90 degrees, and I turn to the left east side. That is how people make complicated. How do you serve? You go to the kitchen, pick up the coffee, bring it to the person. That's it. Trade with my MT4. Does that make sense? Trade with your simple. Then how? You need also a broker. Okay, you need a broker account. How do you even choose a proper broker account? Now, these questions, a lot of people ask us sometimes, and I want to go through it quickly before we can take it out from there. So a lot of people ask questions like, how do you choose a broker account? I really want to talk to you about something. I have my notes here, as I said. Give me a second. As John was saying, things were prepared into this, so we're going to be on the same page, okay? Okay, so where we go, there you go. Okay. So the first thing that you need to be able to understand is if you're choosing a broker account, very simple. You want a broker account that your deposits when you are depositing into the broker, it's much more easier. You don't want something complicated. They tell you to send the money to somebody, maybe in Singapore, and then they will not transfer it. You start to think, no, this is crazy. You want brokers that you can withdraw easily. You need to make sure according to your bank, in your own country, it's easier for you to withdraw. You look at you look at their leverage. You look at their minimum deposit. Is this something that you can handle? These little things are things that, so you can search all these things yourself. You don't need to even ask them. You go to Google, best brokers in my region. You will get something like that. So these little things are very, very simple. The how is you need a device, you need an MT4, you need a broker, you need a space, you need a couple of things that you are meant to do. Does that make sense? It's as simple as that. So the reality of the situation is, if you want to be able to make it simple, the how is how do you trade? You need your devices, you need a broker, so on and so on. Now what? So the first thing is how. The second one is what do you trade? Okay. So the what do you trade is just like any other thing. If you want to be able to start a restaurant, the question is what type of restaurant? Do you want to start a coffee restaurant? Do you want to start a food restaurant, breakfast restaurant? Whatever that you want to do, you need to be able to specify the type of restaurant you want to make. So these things helps a lot for us to be able to understand that, okay, we know the how now, we know what now, and the when. The when is timing. When you have I'm using coffee shop as an example because I don't want you to think this is different from another thing. So when you start and say when is like, you don't just open a coffee shop and then just go in around, let's say 8 p.m. And then tomorrow you go to work around 5 p.m. And then the next day you say, you know what, I'm even tired. And then the following day you go around 11 a.m. You don't want to do that. Why? Because you need to be consistent in a time range for you to be able to grow your business. So the when is, but now this is where the part goes. You don't choose the time you want to trade Forex, unfortunately, because of the day you want. You choose them based on the sessions in the market. Does that make sense? You choose them based on the sessions according to the market. So we know we have Tokyo session, London session, New York session, Sydney, so on and so on. So you now sit down and say, okay, in between London and the New York, I will be able to work 5 hours. I will be able to work 2 hours. Wait, I even work during those times. So I will sacrifice. Wait, I am a mother of 2 girls. So you know what? You know, it's not going to be easy, but everybody has a tough story. I'm going to actually work during only Tokyo session. What you are doing right there is you are now making decisions. So you remember now, even though as beautiful as this sounds, you cannot be able to sacrifice if your mindset is not strong. So you waking up during Tokyo session to be able to have a trading going on for you, it's your story. So you don't just choose the time when you are free. You choose a time you can work in and sacrifice some things you can sacrifice and put in the work. So if London session, you are busy, leave it. There is Tokyo session. The only thing that you have to do at that time is to unfortunately sacrifice 2 hours of sleep and then put in the grind. So these little things are things that you need to be intentional about. Now, guys, do you understand the how, when, and the what, the first 2 W's? Do you get it? Now we're going to the last part. The last part is the last one that I call the next when. That when is simple. It's the entry and exit. This is where a lot of people get, and it seems a little bit tough. The entry and exit. What does it mean? The entry and exit is how, when do you, this is the question. And if this is true, let me know in the chat. This is where every single person is looking to understand. When do I enter the trade, Cliff? And when do I get out? This is the last W, which is the when. So the first one before this one was, when do you trade, as in time management? The last one is, when do I get into the trade and get out? That is where you will find strategies, management, so on and so on. So we are going to dive right into that one, and then we will be able to end this conversation with management education. Now, when you get to that part, I want to talk about something now. When you get to that part, one thing that I want you to understand is this. One thing that I want you to understand is this. First things first, whenever you get into this industry, you will find a lot of information. You will find a lot of things out there. Now, you don't want to be overwhelmed. After you've been able to understand how to use a platform like MT4, you want to be able to know where you'll be using to analyze your market, which is, people use MT4, but you want to be able to know how to use TradingView. So guys, please, let's take it out in this order. Number one, the platform called MT4, you want to be able to know how to use it. Now, how many of us on this call know how to use MT4? I'm not saying how many of you have MT4. How many of you know how to use MT4? That means you know how to put stop loss, take profit. You know how to set your sell limit, buy limit, stop, and all that. And then you know how to be able to close partials. It's very important. You want to be able to know how to be able to close, move, throw your stop loss, modify, so on and so on. Does that make sense? You need to know. So if you don't need, I'm not going to teach that. If you don't know how to do that, please write it down that I need to know how to use MT4. Very important. Knowing how to use MT4 will answer a couple of questions for you. The number two is you need to know how to use TradingView. Now, TradingView is one of the top platform for analysis to us retail traders for a reason, because it has tools. They are really making sure they put in all the best to be able to help us to make the right analysis. So what about MT5? MT5, MT4, similar, the same thing. The only difference between that is some simple tools that may not be in MT5 and some securities. But then I'm talking about the buy, sell element, all of this. If you are talking about the difference in securities, some securities like volatility index, you cannot be able to trade volatility index on MT4. You can only trade it on MT5. So there are some synthetic securities that you cannot be able to trade on MT4 for now. Yes, sir. So it is very important that you understand. So MT4, MT5, they are not wildly different. They are just in. Some brokers like to use MT4 a lot because it is much more easier for people and it's like default. Does that make sense? But you can choose MT5, nothing changes. And then with MT5, you will notice that when you take a buy, it will mark the area you took the buy. It has all those things even on your phone. So those little things are like an improvement kind of a thing. Now, the reality of the situation is, after you are done knowing how to use MT4, you go to know how to use your TradingView. So your TradingView is very simple. On the TradingView is nothing. For example, let me show you something right now, guys. Can I share my screen? Yes, sir. I'm just making sure because it's like I'm in someone else's house. So I need permission to say if I can share my screen. So give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. So unfortunately, it's telling me that it's disabled. So John, please, if you can help me out. I'm using my laptop, so if I can get the other one. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen now in a second. I wanna show you guys something. And please, I don't want you to quickly just, I don't want you to be quick on saying, nah, Cliff, what are you saying? Just stay with me, okay? Stay with me, please. I'm not gonna confuse you. It's not my job to do that. I genuinely want you to see something, so stay with me. Okay. Where we go. Okay, so I'm gonna show you something right now, and I want you to see this. So let me see if I can share the screen now. Boom. Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay, that is not me. Muted. Okay, so guys, you can see my screen. Just let me know in the chat, please. I want to show you something right now. Okay, this will simplify some things in your head. Believe me, my job is to make sure I don't let you leave this call being confused. So if you can see my screen, let me know in the chat, okay? I'm sure you can see it. Yes, of course. So look at this. I'm gonna switch this up into line charts. Do you see the line charts? Guys, please, can you mute if you come on board? Thank you. So can you see the line chart? Okay, so what is the difference between a line chart and a candlestick chart? What is the difference between a candlestick chart and a line chart? I don't remember, guys. We're keeping it simple. Bodies and wicks. Okay. So basically, no wicks. Okay. So basically, what we are saying is the difference between a line chart and then a candlestick chart is the type of indication they give, right? Are you with me? Is the kind of indication they give, right? Okay. So I really want us to simplify it. So the difference between a line chart and a candlestick chart is that the kind of indication they give. I want you to agree with me before I move on. If you don't agree, we'll stay until I agree. So the difference between the candlestick chart and a line chart is a kind of indication they show you, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't understand, I will explain. Don't worry, you will get it. Let me ask you a question right now. Now, this is a line chart, so stay with me. Let's do something right now, okay, for a second. So I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna go to the symbol and I'm gonna do this. Okay, so every single person that has been trading for a long time, this is Frank 40. With you looking at this chart, please tell me where Frank 40 was in 3 weeks' time, like 3 weeks ago, sorry. Where was Frank 40? Tell me. Tell me. Where was Frank 40? Where is the chart? Cool. Okay, good question. So without the chart is there. It's just, I mean, you don't see the line, but the chart is there. He's asking where is the chart. The chart is there. You just don't see the line, right? I know. So tell me where Frank 40 was 3 weeks ago. Can somebody tell me that? Can you show me? If it's yes or no, can you show me where Frank 40 was 3 weeks ago? We don't. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay, so you guys are saying you cannot see the chart. I know, but that is the whole point. So you see, I know you cannot see the chart. I know. So how were people trading back in the days without this type of technology? Are you with me now? Okay. So you see, I told you to tell me where Frank 40 was 3 weeks ago. You're like, you don't know. Cool. So when I now bring this back, right? When I now bring this back, let's go to settings and let's go to symbol. When I now bring this back, why can you now tell me where Frank 40 was 3 weeks ago? How come? You can now tell it. Why? Tell me now. Why is it so easier to be able to tell me where we have the line to show us? So now, would you agree that, in other words, this line is nothing but an indicator indicating to show you where Frank 40 was a couple of few weeks ago? Do you understand where I'm going with this? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Leo. Okay, so if this is nothing but an indicator, in other words, what is TradingView? So now when you look at a platform called TradingView, in other words, what is it? Now let's go into the minds of those behind the application called TradingView. What do you think their number one goal is? Okay, I've seen some comments. Cool. I like that mindset. But what do you think the number one goal of TradingView, the person creating it? Give them up. Cool. So if you go through every single thing that is on TradingView, one thing I want you to understand right now is this, that the person that is creating TradingView is giving you nothing but a tool of what? Please stay with me. There is a reason why I am explaining it in this way. So that means the person creating TradingView, I really want you to stay with me, is giving you nothing but a box full of what? I'm going to pause for a second. I really want to make sure that it has clicked with where we are going with this. So first of all, indicators. Indicators. Does that make sense now? That is why when you come onto their big board here, you can find out that every single thing they are doing, they are making sure they are automating it. Does that make sense? They are automating indicators such as this. They are indicating strategies. They are automating candlestick patterns. They are automating chart patterns. They are automating everything. They are automating everything. So the moment that you try to stay away from their indication, you are literally losing the vision of what TradingView is trying to achieve. They are trying to help you to create a body of systems. Again, guys, I cannot see you, I cannot hear you, but I want everybody to say this: systems. What they are basically doing is they are creating systems for you. Do you know why? Because when you have a body of systems, you now have the time to focus on your psychology and your management, and then you can be able to survive in this industry for a long period of time. There is a reason why we are saying this. Systems. It's very, very important, guys. In the beginning, there wasn't this. TradingView didn't have bullish flag, chart pattern. They didn't even have Elliott wave. In fact, I'm going to show you guys a couple of things right now. I'm going to open another place. I'm another different, as you can see, guys. I want to show you that I'm not somebody who just talk. Look at this. This is what do you guys see this? Can you see this? I want to know that you can see. What is this? Where I'm putting this one. What does it say there? So if I want to be able to send some trade ideas, I come here. This is checklist. This is my markup area zone. This is my execution zone. This is for reason. If I come here on reason, it's game time. So this is my 34 tip. I arrange every single thing for me to know what I'm looking for. Systems. So at the end of the day, the reality of the situation is you need to be able to understand that this is not a game. This is not something that you just play around. You need to be intentional. Okay? So now I was going to show you guys something, but I really want to make sure I don't go beyond my time. So now that we have understood what TradingView is all about, now when you come here, you know, hey, I'm looking for a trend line tool to help me to indicate a certain trend. You go like, hey, I'm looking for what do we call it? An extended line. I'm looking for auto Fibonacci. I'm looking for how to be able to calculate my risk reward ratio. I'm looking for tools to help me indicate. If this wasn't there, guys, if this wasn't there, do you know how time it will take you for you to be able to know how much you are risking by calculating, writing down things and all that? Before you will finish, you will calculate your risk reward ratio by calculator and everything. Before you will finish, the market is gone. So TradingView said, you know what? Say no more. We got something called this for you, which will be able to help you to just drop it on, stretch it, do this, do that. And then what happens? You will now be able to enter the trade automatically. What I'm trying to establish right now is, guys, the vision of TradingView, don't fight it. They want to work with you to be able to help you create a system. And I know there are some information out there, and this might sound a little bit controversial, but that is Cliff. I say the truth anyway, because we shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. You don't ever become free without knowing the truth. It's as simple as that. Until you create your own TradingView, this TradingView, I know, is nothing but a system of automated indicators. However you want to use it depends on you, but don't fight automation. It's like saying you want to go from A to B and you have a car, but you decide to walk because you think you have strong legs, good for you. But in this time that we live in, we call something in order for you to be able to be said somebody that you have been able to make it in any area of your life, then you are saying you are the kind of person that is able to redeem time. Does that make sense? So that means in order for you to, that is why people say, hey, why is people buying private jets? Well, they buy private jet because they want to be able to get to that place on time. They probably could have used a car to move from A to B. That would take them 8 hours, but with a private jet, you will see 3 hours. They have redeemed time. So while you are complaining that you are tired, they are already being efficient in their business. So what TradingView is trying to do is to make you more efficient, is to try to make you more, to be able to redeem time so that you don't waste time in analysis. Does that make sense? So now that we have established this, when you go on TradingView now, you will see it more as a place where you arrange your analysis systems. Does that make sense? Cool. Now, systems, guys, are you with me? I hope I'm not wasting anybody's time today. Okay, now after you've been able to learn how to use MT4, you've now been able to establish TradingView to know what truly it can help you to do. Truly, it can help you to do. Then the next thing I want you to do before you proceed to your analysis, please write this down, is understanding trend. I'm not saying draw trend lines. Understanding trend. What that means is that if you are a retail trader in Apple, so you sell iPhones, you sell iMacs, you sell whatever you sell, you cannot choose to go sell now in 2022 iPhone 3G. You can. In fact, even if you could find one, good for all the best. But you can't choose to sell it because you think you have selling skills. What would you then do to survive in an industry like that? Would you go against the trend, or you will follow the trend? So if you will follow the trend, what type of trend are we on now in terms of selling iPhone? Am I making sense? I'm making sure we don't go too technical so that you think this trading thing is something that is different. You have to use something. No. It's just like the business. So the reason why we tell you to follow trends is because we are literally telling you to follow where the money is. Please write that down. What we are basically saying is to follow where the money is. So, for example, I've heard people sometimes saying, I'm not a trend follower. But then you hear them saying bearish and bullish. I'm like, okay, what is bearish and what is bullish? Am I making sense? So you don't want to be able to say, I don't follow trends, but then you say words like bearish and bullish. So bearish and bullish is a terminology for trends. Am I making sense? If it's bearish, it means it's selling at that point. If it's bullish, it means it's going up at that point. So you want to be able to understand trends. That means, how do I spot a trend and how do I follow a trend? Please write this down. When I say understand trends, this is what I mean. How do you spot it? How do you find it? Meaning, how do you draw it? And how do you know that they have ended, that particular trend? So number one, how do you spot a trend? Number two, how do you follow it? In other words, how do you analyze it? Number three, how do you know that trend is over? Are you writing it down? I cannot see anything because I know that this one is full, so I can't see it. I want to make sure you guys are not confused saying, Cliff, go away. Are you guys getting this? I want to make sure for that. This guy, Cliff, hurry up. Let's go to the management. That is what we need. I know we'll get there. It's going to be amazing. It's powerful. Okay. So how do you spot a trend? How do you follow it? And how do you know it is done? Simple. These are the questions. The reason why I teach in questions is that is how I learned. Because when I find the answer to that question, I take it and know that I'm done. I move on to the next. How do you spot a trend? How do you follow it? And how do you know it is done? Now, when you are done with trend following, the next thing I want you to truly understand is what we call the supply and demand. Please write that down. When you are done, so please, those who are also, teachers by nature, how do you know it is done? As I said, I'm giving you systems. That is why, as you can see in our Rise Academy, these are the systems we are duplicating all around. So I'm not really going to go into details about how do you spot a trend, how does it know it's in. That is not going to be today's call. This is like a blueprint. Does that make sense? How do I spot a trend? How do I follow it? How do we know it is done? As simple as that. Just write these things down. When you find answers to these questions, which you will, and then when you find answers to these ones, the next thing is, for example, we will get there. I don't want to go beyond. I saw the questions. I wanted to try to answer it, but I want to stay on course. Now, the next thing when you are done studying trend is you now quickly try to understand supply and demand. There is a reason why we are studying supply and demand, because supply and demand is connected to trend. Again, you remember in the beginning, I told you that we can study things all around every area, boom, 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 boom. But it's just like going to a medical school. In level 100, they are teaching you the basics of anatomy, your head, your eyes, your shoulders. I don't know about you guys, as basic as that thing was, I was still confused. We go to the class and the teacher is asking, Cliff, where is I don't want to go into much details. And I'm like, I don't know. But when I got to second year, I was like, wait, what I was studying first year was not as difficult as I thought. So what happened? Was I dumb? No, it's stages. So write this information down. Eventually, believe me, you will get it. So supply and demand, I connect it to trend. There is a reason. The reason why I connect supply and demand to trend is because of this. I have arranged, does that make sense? I have arranged the amount of it, they become simultaneous. Exactly. I have arranged it in this way because a supply begins what type of trend? Because I know there are some incredible traders in here. I'm just going through the participants. I'm like, yo, I see my people. So the supply begins what type of trend? Guys, please don't Don't shame me. I know we got incredible traders in the building. So the supply begins what type of trend? And then the demand begins what type of trend? Okay, just want to know. When we talk about supply, anytime you see that they are saying this is a supply zone, it means it has a possibility of beginning what type of trend? Do we know it? Bearish, supply, demand, bullish. Leo, perfect. I knew you were there, brother. So when we talk about supply, we talk about bearish. We talk about demand, we talk about bullish. So now you see, while you are understanding trends, the next thing, as soon as you are done with trends, is you need to study supply and demand. Now, the moment you are done with supply and demand, do you know the next thing you need to study? You need to study reversal patterns. Why? Guys, remember, we are creating a system of knowledge for you to know how to arrange your education. Why do we study reversal patterns? To know when to come out. Exactly. So now these three bodies of trends, supply and demand, and then reversal patterns together makes you understand how to manage trend in general. So trend is like the main boss in this body. So it's like this, so when you spread a trend, you should be able to understand supply and demand, because supply and demand begins a type of a trend. And you should be able to understand reversal. Why? Because if at the end of the day, we have this here, and if we have that here, and let's say we are calling this the supply and demand zones, let's just say, if the trade is coming from here to here, and it reaches here and it turns around, it has reversed. When it comes here, it has reversed. Does that make sense? So I'm doing it this way for you to understand that. How then do you know? So the only way to be able to know anything in this industry of trading, when it comes to analysis, is connected to patterns. So it's connected to patterns. Does that make sense? That is why you will find so many patterns, candlestick patterns, reversal patterns, patterns. You will find so many patterns. So patterns is very important. It means a sequence of behavior that has happened before and it could happen again. That is my definition. A sequence of behavior that has happened before and could happen again. So that is why, so if somebody asks you right now on this call, you go out there, you try to introduce someone into trading. You tell them, listen, I want you to come join me, let's trade. They say, nah, this is gambling. You said, no, we don't do that. They say, what do you mean? It's gambling. You lose. You said, no, we don't do that. However, you can gamble, but that is not what we teach. Just like the casinos, we don't gamble. They gamble, we don't gamble. In the casino, you put your money in before you see the pattern. But in trading, we see the pattern and then we put the money in. However, if you put your money in without seeing the pattern, you have gambled. But our goal is to be able to teach you to see the pattern before you put the money in. We work with probabilities. As much as every single person works with probabilities, we make sure we have seen the pattern, a sequence of behavior that has happened before that can happen again. Am I making sense, guys? So in the casino, people understand that this one, we are gambling 100%. What that means is that we are going to put the money in, then we switch it on to find out the pattern that can let us win money. In trading, our number one rule is we see the pattern and then we put the money in. Even if money doesn't come out, we made the right decision based on systems. Okay. Now, after you've been able to understand supply and demand, the next thing I want you to really go deeper into is to go deeper into what I call market structure. Market structure. Market structure. I'm going to pause here for a second, guys. I know that you guys are taking notes, but communicate with me. I want to make sure that I've not lost everybody. This call is lasting a little bit more. Are you guys okay? Should we do part 2? John, is it okay if I continue? Because after this couple of few ones, we are heading towards the management and we are done. Is it fine by you guys? You guys want to go somewhere else? Okay. Okay, then. Cool. I can see, let me see in the chat to know. Okay, cool. You guys are loving it. Then I'm loving it to stay here as well. So the next thing I want you to do is to go understand market structure and something else. I like testing people because when I ask questions like this, it helps you for you not to forget. The moment you start studying market structure, in other words, some people connect market structure to price action, which technically speaking, they are not wrong because price action simply means the action of the price, which is buying and selling, as simple as that, right? Does that make sense? So, but then this is where you are going next, because every single strategy that you will find in the market is connected to the action of the price. So you're going to be able to understand price action very, very well. So let me go over the things that we spoke about right now, knowing how to use MT4, very simple. Knowing how to use TradingView because they are your platform, or it is your platform that will help you to indicate the things you need to find in the market. Number 3 is you need to understand trend as a body, whereby when you spread the wings, you should find supply and demand, which it will now let you understand reversals. And then you come to understand market structure as a whole and the price action as a strategy. Now, price action as a strategy can be connected to so many things. So many indicators came out of the behavior of the price. It's as simple as that. Now, I define price action in a very simple way. That price action simply means buying and selling. Price action simply means buying and selling. Now, the more you want to go deeper into price action, you will find strategies and patterns to identify the type of price action that is. For example, if there are more buyers in the market, what do? Let's try to find where we can follow the buyers. If there are more sellers in the market, what do? Let's find a way to be able to follow the sellers. And there are some strategies that say, hey, when you see a certain type of behavior in the MACD, it's telling you sellers are dying out. Hey, if you see any type of behavior in the MACD, it's telling you the buyers are dying out. So the end goal of every single thing that we are learning is at the end of every single decision you make, you will either be with the buyers or you will be with the sellers. Whichever way, the reason why that it is not promised all the time to make money all the time in this industry is because you will never know if the buyers are coming in hard or it's going to go in your favor, or the sellers are coming in hard. But then at the end of every single thing you are learning, that is why people sometimes say price action is the best strategy. No, price action is the end goal. Let me say this again. It's true. I know people say price action is the best strategy, but as true as that sounds, this is the beautiful part to make you comfortable with that saying, is that price action is the end goal. Because any decision that you make in the market, you have followed an action of a particular price, either in buying or in selling. Am I making sense, guys? If this is making sense, please drop some ones in the chat. Let's go to the next slide. So as in order in that way, now you know and you have a blueprint on how to study. You're not now going to shadow box around. You need to make sure all the questions that you've written it down, you have answered them. Be very intentional. Don't go to the next step. Don't assume you can make jollof rice. Don't assume that. Don't ever assume you can make jollof rice. I can assure you, try it. It won't come out the first time very well. I have an experience in that, if you know what that is. All right. So I don't want you to go on assuming. Leo, I see you. You tried it. It didn't work. I see you, brother. I did it. I tried it the first time. It didn't come out. I have the recipe, went on YouTube, used the advice people gave me. Still didn't come out well. And I was wondering, what did I do wrong? And I realized it's a different thing in here and a different thing in practice. So that's why you can trade demo, but when you come to the live account, it's different. You know what I mean? So guys, please, in this order, it is not going to be the 100% information all you need, but in this order, you will at least not shut the box around. Does that make sense? All right, cool. I don't even want to talk about John. John, I see your law. That law is so guilty. I can smell it. You tried it, brother. You tried it. It didn't work. Okay, so all I'm basically just saying now, we're going on to the next one, which is called the management. Guys, this is one of my favorite side of talking about trading, management. This is our last segment. Hopefully we finish in the next couple of few minutes and then we are done. Okay, management. Now, after you've been able to do all these things, the last part of all is management. You want to be able to get to a point where you can manage. Now, before we talk about management, let me quickly just explain this, that in this industry, there are 3 enemies you can never do away. In fact, they can't do away without you. They need you. They are like evil spirits. Evil spirits is not authorized to stay on earth. As long as they have body, they can stay in here. So they can't do away without a body. Does that make sense? I see them as evil spirit, these 3 enemies. They are fear, hope, and greed. Please write it down. I know you might say, I've heard this before. Believe me. As I told you, you will leave this call with your mind blown. Fear, greed, and hope. Fear, greed, and hope. The first one that we're going to talk about is greed. Greed. These are your enemies. That is why we're going to be talking about management. Fear, greed, and hope. Let's talk about greed first. Very wicked soul. Very wicked. It doesn't have a soul. Very wicked spirit. Spirit as in enemy. Evil one. So greed is like that friend, you know? We all had one friend. That friend, he's very energetic, he's interesting. We all know he doesn't really have a good attitude. He would never let you make money in this world, but you love hanging out with that friend anyways. He will not give you the best of the advice. He will even tell you to read a book. In fact, even if you're reading a book, he'll be like, oh, why are you always reading this? Haven't you seen a Squid Game? That friend, we all have one. Or we used to have one. In fact, you shouldn't be on this course to having one. That friend, it's like, what, don't worry, let's go out. Come on, you can write the exam later. That friend. So greed is like that friend. While you have come on a call like this, you're like, you know what? I'm going to be intentional, using right lot sizes and everything. Then 1 week, you are winning. And that friend comes, come on, why you a chicken? I know that sometimes they say if you use 0.50, come on, imagine if you would have used this lot size. Do you know how much you would have made? That friend. You know what I'm saying? That's greed. That friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you have used this one, just trust me, man. Just 50 pips with 0.50. You know what that is? And then you know what you do? This friend. And then you will pick up your phone. An iPhone is very beautiful with a calculator. So cute. It makes you see the vision. 5 times 50, $250. Whoa. Okay, I can pay this rent. Okay, now I'll take the $50. So you start talking to, but you think you're around talking to yourself, right? You start to see the signs of money. You already have the mansion in head, taking the best trip of your life. Cool. And then the day you made that decision for some weird reason is the day it goes south. And then now, the moment that greed is done with you, he calls hope. And hope goes like, are you done? He said, I'm done. And then hope comes in because greed now came in to hijack your management plan. It's a strategic kind of demonic activities going on there with these 3 guys. So greed hijacks your management plan. As soon as he's done, he calls hope to come in to hijack you to make sure you take away your SL. Because your management plan is already weak. So now you want to be hopeful. Instead of you saying, you know what, I'm going to use only 50 pips, you now start modifying it. So now when I tell you to learn how to use MT4, I'm not telling you learn how to use it in a bad way. No. Learn how to modify it in the right. Don't go modify SLs. You know it's 30 pips. You go around changing it, saying, you know what, in my reverse. That is how I blew my account. Blew so many accounts hoping. So hope now comes in when greed is done. So when greed is done, hope is like, you done? He said, I'm done. It's like, cool, let's do this. So now it hijacks you, modifying your SLs, removing it, saying it will reverse, and it doesn't reverse. Boom, account is gone. Now the master of the game comes in, fear. Fear now comes in and say, do you remember when you took this trade, you lost? Do you remember? In fact, you were supposed to take the entry here and you didn't take it. In fact, you remember, and it went to 200 pips. It now summarized greed characteristics. It summarized the hope characteristics. It combined them all together and it keeps on ringing in your head. So what fear does is fear hijacks your whole entire journey. 3 enemies: greed, hope, and fear. Anytime you will find someone not making it in this industry, and even if their strategy was good or is good, you will find these 3 enemies tormenting you. That is why I have dissected the management into these 2 pieces. That management is not just, to me, using the right lot size. Management comes in 2 forms. How to manage you and your capital together is management. For me, you can take it or you might not. Management, to me, is whereby you create a system to manage you and your capital. Again, remember in the beginning, I think, John, you can name this topic systems, because that is where we're going. So you remember at the beginning, we said you walk by common sense, you run by principles, but you fly by instructions. Anyone you will see in the air, you don't just go to the top without instructions. So you need a system. So at the end of the day, you are now about to create a system. You now have a system on how you study. You have a system on how you filter your information. You don't just study anything anyhow. Imagine you go to a school, and this school have so many departments: medicine, engineering. Like, you know what? I have paid. This is what some people do. People sometimes say, you know what? I have paid. I have paid school fees. In fact, these teachers owe me. I'm going to go to all the class. I will study medicine. I will study engineering. I will study vocab. Anything. I will study everything to make sure my money has served the purpose. All the best. All the best. So the reality is, you want to be able to have a system on how you even filter the information that you need. Does that make sense? So now, systems of management. Let's talk about the you first. The reason why managing you is very important is because your trading life and your actual life, they mirror each other. Your trading life and your actual life, they mirror each other. Anytime your trading life is not going well, it will affect your actual life. Anytime your actual life is not going well, it will affect your trading life. So you want to be able to have a system that manages you. That means, when do you wake up? Again, remember, self-development, all these things, you cannot take it away. So you cannot be developed without you cannot be able to manage yourself without being self-developed. It's very important. Does that make sense? Who you are is how you trade. Exactly. Whoever iPhone is, I got so much love for you right now. Who you are is how you trade. Who you are is how you see the market. It's as simple as that. So it's not really about the strategy. Strategy only gives you a way to approach the market. It doesn't matter. Go anywhere as a person that says, hey, you know what? I don't care. All I want is an AK-47 and I can defend myself. I can be a soldier in 2 minutes. Just give me guns, give me knives, give me grenades. Okay, take it. Here you go. People forget that being a soldier got nothing to do with the tools. It's about the mindset. So have system that manages you. So they tell the soldiers, 6 a.m., 5:30, get up, lay your bed. They do the same thing over and over and over again. What they are doing is they are becoming a system. So when you tell a soldier, we need to eliminate this threat, say no more. He is not the person you knew before they became a soldier. So a soldier is anyone that has been transformed from being a civilian. I just come up with these ideas, to be able to define things for me to understand. So hopefully don't think it's like, oh, let me go search Google. Clifford said it's not there. In my opinion, a soldier is someone who has been transformed from being a civilian to a soldier. That is what I think. So you want to be a trader. What then do? You need to transform your mind from being that person who used to be so emotional with losses, that person who used to be so delusional, that person who used to be so hopeful in the market, thinking we are not bound to principles, we are bound to principles. So when you come into the market, you think like that. You trade like that. Does that make sense? You think like that, you trade like that, you do everything like that, and eventually you become a system. So a system to manage you. This one, I'm going to leave it to John. John, please, this is for you. a system to manage you. That is you guys, your next trading. John is gonna do that. I don't have to do that right now. I even learn from these guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Something they don't know, hide on these calls in the global meetings anyway, so that they don't catch me and say, Cliff, what are you doing here? This is only, you know. So basically, what I do is learn from these people, create a system to manage you. You see John coming on a call, he's like, I'm super pumped. Someone, please. He is super pumped. He knows what he has seen. He knows what he feels. He is not kidding. He is literally super pumped. In fact, right now, if you're on this call and after all these minutes, you're not super pumped, I don't know what you're doing here. Drop some number ones right now. Let me know you are super pumped. This information is not supposed to let your life remain the same anymore. But your life will remain the same if you are on this call complaining, whining, and saying, oh, please, you have not heard this before. It's not about the information. It's about the receiving of what you are hearing now. Is what changes everything. Does that make sense? So when you come on these calls, the right attitude, I always say this, that when I know some people, I may not be seeing you from where you are, but I can assure you, some people have come on my call lying down before. You lying down in your couch, you lying down in your bed, and you want to become a six-figure trader, you got to be kidding me. So you see, that Clifford that started was just trying to, a couple of building things up a little bit. Now I'm switching up to the Clifford Chequona, y'all know. John, I hope it's cool, because I'm going to be telling you the truth right now on this call. So if you know you're not ready for the truth, you got to get out, because I'm going to be serious. I don't want you not to be a six-figure earner. I want you to be a six-figure earner. I want you to be a seven-figure earner. It doesn't happen easy. So you have to make up your mind that you come on calls, Reese calls, Nesto, Jerry, all these guys. You don't lie in your bed with your laptop on your lap. Don't do that, because if you trade like that, you become like that. So you got to sit down, intentional. You have your table, you have your chair. What are you doing? I'm learning. What are you doing? I'm trading. Oh, what is that? We analyze the Forex market. It's a joke. Okay, I hear you. Simple as ABCD. So you got to learn how to manage you. You have to think differently. Let people look at you and say, you're crazy. Why do you wear a suit while you are trading? Are you not a retail trader? You say, I am. I am. But if I trade like this, sooner or later, I will become like what you are seeing now. That does not make sense. It's as simple as that. So have a system that manages you. As I said, John will do that. Now the system to manage capital. This is the last part. If you guys can't see my screen, that is why I'm extracting this right now. Let's go there. I taught this one time. I don't know where it is. I've been trying to find it, but I can't find it. But we'll talk about it right now real quick. Let's see if I can find that, okay? Guys, are you happy now? If you are still on this call and you are still listening to me, put systems. If you are still on this call with me and you're not angry with me, like Cliff, you came into our house, you trying to tell us the truth? Yes, because that's the only way you can become free. So put systems. All right, cool. So now what we are going is the final part, your capital. Oh boy, your capital. Your capital. I'm trying to find something that I did, but I don't know which thing I put it on, but I will find it. Give me a second. I will find it. I think it's on was it on a signal? Let me see, execution. I'll find it. Give me a second, okay? No, I don't think it's this one. You know what? Let's just move. I will do another one. I will do a new one for the sake of you guys, okay? Let's just do a new one. Let's do a new one. So management. Now, this is how I see management. Guys, I always teach it this way. Please, this is the final part. It's called the momentum part. You don't want to miss this, because this is what a lot of people are suffering from. My question is this. What do you do when you go into a trade and it's reversing? In fact, hold on for a second. In order for you to get this real, take this. You start learning how to drive. All right, you start learning how to drive from your point A to point B is nothing but a system management. So when you look at the system of a car, as beautiful as the car may look, the brand and everything, the whole entire system of a car is to help you manage. Have you guys realized that? Those who have cars, come on, leaders, talk to me. The whole system of a car is to help you to manage. Lights, beautiful as the light may look in the day, when it gets to the night, it helps you to manage what? Maybe you guys may not be getting this, but let's just talk. as beautiful lights. I'm seeing this Audi lights. They are so cute. The new BM. They're all cute lights. I don't know cars that much. That's why I'm not going into deeper before I say something. They're like, oh man, Clifford, he doesn't know cars. So basically, the whole system of a lighting system, in the lamp in the car, what does it do? As beautiful as it may look in the day, when the night comes, what does it do? To see in the dark. So it helps you to manage. It warns you. It helps you to see. It manages your vision. As beautiful as a horn may sound, beep, beep, it helps you to manage something. As beautiful as the brake may look, the handbrake and the brake you step on, they are all beautiful stuff, but they help you to manage. You have a seatbelt on. It's not just a black belt in your car. So you don't just go putting signs on it, saying Chequona, safety Chequona. It's like you putting signs on it. It's just to help you to manage and strap yourself with it. So if you look at the whole entire system of a car, even when winter is coming, they tell you get winter tires. It's so that you can help manage your movement on the road. When you move your car, you will see a traffic light. It's to be able to help you to say stop. If you keep on going now, a car can hit you from both sides. When you see a ramp, it's telling you, wait, manage your speed now, because if you don't take care, you are in a different area. Every system of driving and the car itself is a body of management. So if you are able to follow the principles, you will be able to move yourself from A to B with proper management. That is how trading is. So what I want to do right now is to change one serious mindset for you on this call and do the same for people. Trading has two initial management systems: stop loss and take profit. That's right. Let's start doing something right now, okay? I call this the default. Are you guys writing now? I call this the default management. Why did I clean it? I call this the default. Hey, Cliff, behave. Default management. Okay. In the default management, you will find what we call SL and and TP. I had this information. I don't know what it is. This is your default. Both of these are not enemies. Both of these, they are systems. Again, remember we said systems. Default management, which is SL and TP, they are not just something you just do. They are systems. This is not your enemy. So let's correct that mindset. Anytime your trade hit a stop loss, you have not lost a trade. You have stopped a loss. Let's fix this mindset now. Yes, the outcome may not be in blues, but the end goal is your system saved your capital. You have been able to stop a loss. It's what I translate as stop loss. Being able to hit a TP doesn't necessarily mean that you have made the money you want. You have just taken a profit. They are both management systems. Am I making sense? These are the default management systems every trader will find out, or they will hear in their early beginning of their trading. Stop loss and take profit, very default. So when you hit an SL, you have not lost a trade. You have stopped a loss, just like the traffic light. When you get to a traffic light, as much as your petrol is going down, you've not lost the car. You've not lost your journey. You've not. You've only stopped for a period of time to continue your journey. You don't go like, oh my God, if you don't let me go now, my petrol is going to run out. No, you've only stopped for a period of time. So write this down, please. It is never about the stop loss, but rather the size of the loss. I told you guys, I told you guys won't leave the call the same way again. You see that wow is an enlightenment. It's an enlightenment. It would change that person's life. So pay attention. You have not. So imagine if I am educating you and you come and you tell me, back in the days when I used to mentor people privately, I will tell them that don't come to me with only take profit. Come to me with stop loss. Say, Cliff, guess what? I'm like, what? He said, today I stopped a loss. I'm like, wow, how did you know? He said, I knew the moment it broke this area, I stopped the loss. Does that make sense? So that person is having a very good foundation mindset, not seeing stop loss to be the enemy. Stop loss is actually your best friend. So whenever you hit a stop loss, you've not lost the trade, you've stopped a loss. So it's never about the stop loss. It's never about the loss. It's about the size of the loss. It's about the size of the loss, guys. It's never about a stop loss. We all knew you were going to hit stop loss anyways. But when you hit a stop loss you're not happy about, go check the size of the loss. That is the problem. But stop loss is not your enemy. Stop loss really cares about you. It wants to make sure you don't lose your capital. Perfecto. Default management. So system number one that you need to always make sure it is automated in here is your stop loss and your take profit. Very important. That is how you measure your risk to reward ratio. Okay. Now, the next one we are going to look at is what we call the step-in stop. This is a system nobody talks about. We call it the step-in stop. This is not a step-in profit, step-in stop. Okay, the step-in stop is very simple. This is where you go like, you know what? Anytime that my trade goes into 20 pips, I will move. People sometimes call it trailing stop. I don't want to call this one right now a trailing stop because of the way the system is. Trailing stop is basically just moving stop losses into, what do we call it? I will explain that, don't worry. But then let's do the step-in stop. The reason why I'm teaching this right now is because, look at me. Just look at me right now, okay? Look at my face. Look. Stare at me, okay? Look. Forget about this scary face you see. Just stare. Look. When you go into the market, there are times that you can go into a trade, it will go into 40 pips and reverse back to hit your SL. There are times you can go into 20, 30 pips and it can go back into hit your SL. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because systems are very important. I used to have this couple mentees I had, and then they said something. They said, Cliff, anytime we take a trade, we're losing our trades. I said, why? They said, we don't know. I said, okay, answer me this one question. Anytime you take a trade, how many pips does it go into profit before it reverses to hit your stop loss? They all said it together. They said, a lot. I said, in between 10 to 15 pips. They said, a lot. Almost 80% of our trades go to the 10 to 15 pips and reverses back to hit itself. I said, great. You are not losing trades. You are not just managing it well. 15 pips is good money. 20 pips is good money. 30 pips is good money. In fact, if your trade even moves to 5 pips, is good money, because there is a day coming. You will make so much money if you follow what I'm telling you, that 5 pips is all you will need in the market. I always tell people this. I said, I'm looking for the day I will get into the market that 1 pip is the target I'm looking for. It's a joke. I'm not looking for 1 pip, but then you know what I mean. That means the lot size that you will mount into the market, 1 pip should be enough. Actually, pips and then risk to reward ratio is no more different. Risk to reward ratio is a simple term that says, before I will take this trade, I want to see my risk and my reward. As simple as that. That is why I said in the beginning of this journey, don't be too technical because it will confuse you. Risk to reward ratio simply means, it's a term, it's a normal word on the streets. It's not just for Forex traders. When you come right now and say, Cliff, can I get your iPhone? And then I will give you a bottle of water. What kind of risk to reward ratio is that? Of course, I won't do that. That is what risk to reward ratio is for me. So risk to reward ratio is not to impress. It's not for you to say I was able to spot a 10 pips SL and a 2000 pips TP. Wonder boy, congratulations. And then what? Does that make sense? That is not the goal. The goal is, see, in this industry, we are not trying to impress. You really, trading is about you. It's personal. You want to make your money. It's not about anyone. So anytime you go into the market, risk to reward ratio is in a system you have built to make sure when you go into the market, you said you will risk this X amount of percentage, in other words, whatever money, and then this is the money you are looking for. That is your risk to reward ratio. It doesn't have to be static. It doesn't have to be permanent for everyone. It's a personal thingy. The pips is also a personal thingy. Exactly. So the risk is keeping your risk lower and the reward higher. That is your goal. So if your risk to reward ratio is, let's say, 5 pips SL and then 10 pips TP, you are done. You don't have to impress any broski. You want to go and impress people. Does that make sense? Your name is it? When I like people communicating like this, I like to look at who they are. So TD, RHM. I wish I could mention your name because I love you right now on this right now. You're not trying to impress a broski. Does that make sense? That is not the point. You don't have to impress anyone. It is your life. Only you know the mortgage that is coming at the end of the month. Only you know how much you need to pay your debt. Only you know. Because if you told me you caught 200 pips and at the end of the day, you only made $2 because you didn't manage your trade well and it went all the way and came back, what is the point? So step and stop. What is that? What you do right now is you have a system that says, Clifford, with me, I love you. I know that you want to go for 2,000 pips, but with me, anytime my trade moves into 20 pips, I will move my SL. The SL here is not losing them. It's when managing your trade moving, right? Automated, whatever you closing your thingy. So 20 pips, you will move into 10 pips. Anytime it goes into 40 pips, you will bring your trade, your stop loss into what we call, let's say 20 pips. 20 pips. Now with this, already you have a SL range. Let's say SL is 30 pips. Now again, the risk is 30 pips. The reward is 100 pips. So that means every decision that you will make needs to be in this space. Please listen to this. Any decision that you will make here depends on this. That means that if 100 pips is your last target, 30 pips is your SL. Now, the moment that you go into 20 pips, you have now moved your SL into 10 pips. It's in profit now. It's in profit now. Whenever you move your SL, whenever you have, let's say you do it 3 times, 80 pips, you move your SL to 40 pips. Then when you are done with this, we have something that we call the multi-level take profit. The multi-level take profit, guys, listen. I'm sensing something in my spirit right now, and it's like somebody is like, how do I do all these things? Stop right there. Stop right there. Does that make sense? Stop right there. He said, I'll give it so let me check the chart. 1 second, guys. If you follow the pips, in case losing trade is, let's say 40 pips or whatever, you need to search for another 40 pips to break it exactly. If you lose, you're gonna lose 1%, you can raise it. Okay, so for example, what you have just said, so markets won't give you always a big movement. Exactly. So that is what I'm saying, that even if you use 10 pips, listen, is it true that someone who goes for a 30 pips can lose $3? Someone also with 30 pips can lose $30. Someone with 30 pips can lose 30,000. Someone with 30 pips can lose 300. So in this case, is it really about the risk to reward ratio to know how much you want to lose? Because the goal is how much to lose and how much to make. It got nothing to do with the percentage growth is after the reaction has happened. It's when you can know. Does that make sense? No, don't worry. We're not talking about 0.01. We are talking about your money you want to lose. So in trading, it's really about how much you want to lose and how much you want to gain first. So when you are able to find, for example, if you know how much you want to lose, let's say, for example, you want to lose 50 pips. Sorry, you want to lose $50. Okay. If you want to lose $50, now how do you know how much to lose $50? Because the stop loss area is normally about the market range. You don't just choose SL just because you want it. If it is not the right SL, it's not the right SL. Because if you have to put it above a higher low, above a lower high, and it will give you a 25 pips, 30 pips, you now come back and calculate how much you can lose by the money with your loss size. That is how you calculate risk to reward ratio. It is a stages thing. You don't just choose it. The end goal of a risk to reward ratio is how much money you are willing to lose and how much money you are willing to make. Then after you make the money based on your capital is what will give you the percentage. Am I making sense? So the whole entire decision making is based on your money, your capital. It is not about the 2% is just a reflection of how much went out of your capital and how much came in. So if, for example, if you have $500 and you are willing to lose $50, your entire decision should be based on this amount of money you want to lose. So that means if according to the market structure point, where you can put your whole trade, SL and all that, if you're going to get 40 pips, it is now your job to calculate how much loss size you will use to lose, because it's the risk before the reward. So you now calculate how much loss size that can be able to let you lose the $50 with the 40 pip stop loss you have gotten in that range. When that is now done and you are comfortable with the decision, you will now take the trade. So the decision, the whole entire decision you make is really based on how much you want to lose. So so for example, anytime that you go into the market and you want to make $100 profit in case of a win, $10 in case of a losing, it is possible. However, this is personal. That is the kind of point I want to establish on this call. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean, I know people who use 40% winning ratio and still make money at the end of the day. These things are personal. That is one thing, is the risk before, exactly, is the risk before the reward. So when you go into the market, and if, let's say, for example, you lost 10 and then you are able to make 100, is how you grow your portfolio. That is all that matters. I know people who do a 50-50. That means when they go into the market, they are risking $50. Or so, for example, they are risking 50 pips, let's say for 50 pips, it's 1:1. But I know people will be like, that is so whack. What do you mean? It's personal. It got nothing to do with what you want. When it comes to risk to reward ratio, it's personal. Because that person's strategy may be able to let the person win 8 times and lose only twice. So the reality is, in fact, I have something that I want to show you guys right now. I don't want to show the name, but I want to show something. I posted something right now. I want to show you something. Hold on for a second. I'm going to bring this. So I gave this to, hopefully the person is on this call, and then that'll be beautiful. I want to show, it's a very good question that you guys are asking. Please keep the question coming. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a second, okay? I want to share my phone and show you guys something. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so let's go to my phone. I want to show you guys something. This is exactly what you are talking about, brother. Do you guys see my screen? Do you see it? This is from a student in Arise Academy. Do you guys see it? So I taught them a strategy, and I tell them, listen, use a specific range of SL. Use a specific range of SL. Don't read the entire message. It started from how, that is not the point. So he took 15 trades. He lost 9 trades and won only 6. In other words, he lost 9 trades and he won only 6. Do you guys see it? Please, if you see, drop some ones in the chat. This came into, so this was a strategy that, we learned in every single thing. I told them, listen, apply this management approach. Apply this management approach. Do it exactly as I'm telling you. He still won at the end of the day. He made 264 pips. And this is not something he did once. He did it over and over, and he's still actually even doing it. In fact, he's not the only one. In fact, if you are one of those people on this call, exactly. It is as simple as that, guys. So the range of a system you create, that is the kind of message I'm trying to pass around today. That the system that you are going to create, is personal. It's something, number one, you can relate, and it's something you can do over and over again. Because at the end of the day, it is not about what you did yesterday that worked. It's about a system you have created that can duplicate the same results over and over again. So if you are somebody that you go for $10 minus and $100 positive, then every time you go into the market, try to do that over and over again. Don't change it. Because the moment today you're going for this, you're going for that, before you can realize, then the whole thing is changing all of a sudden. So that is why we come here and we say this. You know that, so that is, as you can see, this is a range of anytime you go into the market, you're looking for a 30 pips stop loss and 100 pips target. In this situation, if you're using 0.10, that is $1 per pip, you will lose $30 all the time and you will make 100 pips all the time. $100, sorry, all the time. If you are somebody that wants to change this into 10 pips and say, my stop loss will be 10 pips or the best, it doesn't mean that you are doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that you are the best. It's good for you. So this is the kind of thing that I want to establish the fact that out there, some people, see guys, all these things, all these YouTube things, everybody wants to get views. So somebody will put a caption there, do this, and it will sound good to your ear. It's like trying to be a Christian and the message you want is not the one that a Christian needs, but it's like the one that makes your ear tingles. Okay, it's going to be sweet for the time period until principles start to kick in. So 10 pips is good for you. If you have found a strategy that gives you that, it doesn't mean you are the best. It doesn't mean you are the greatest. It just means it's working for you. And that is the kind of system understanding I want us to create so that we will know that at the end of the day, we don't make our decisions based on things that looks impressive, but based on things that is working. So if 30 pips is the SL range you want to go for every single time, what do you then do? You now make sure you go for it every single time and look for opportunities like that. Then when the trade is moving into profit, you have a way to be able to close in the partial, so on and so on. Then we have the multi-level take profit. I'm rushing right now because I want to wrap up. Based on the multi-level, I say multi-level market take profit. Based on the multi-level take profit, you need to be able to make sure we have something that we call take profit. Taking profit in partials, by in percentage. This is where the percentage comes in. So over here right now, listen to this. I'm going to do it in this order, okay? So over here right now, check this out. Anytime that the market goes into 40 pips, you can tell yourself, my system says I should close 70% of my account. 70% of my account. Now, again, as I said, all these things come down to money. If your lot size is only 0.01, how do you close 70% of your account? It's not possible. So that's what I said. It's very important that you understand it from a money perspective. So you close 70% when it gets into your 40 pips, and you close, let's say 25%. No, let's say 20% when it gets into your 80 pips, and then the remaining 10% to let it go hit your stop loss. Now, what I'm teaching right here is not a strategy. Listen to me, guys. What I'm teaching right here is not a strategy. What I'm teaching you is a system of how you can create your own strategy. Default management that we all know is a static SL and a TP, which is what SL do you want, what TP do you want based on your management. Every single strategy is connected to a management style. Every single management style is connected to a strategy. So you need to be able to make sure, if you are somebody that you take reversals, let me ask you a simple question. If you're somebody that you take trades from reversal places, that means if the trade has to reverse, you will make sure you have to put your SL at a place where the market cannot hit. Normally, you might get 35 pips. Normally, you might get 40 pips, but that is your range. You need to have a range. If let's say your target is always going from zone to the last zone, you might get, let's say 100 pips. Cool. If this is your default range of management approach, you now come into your step and stop. The step and stop is when you say, when it goes into 20 pips, you move SL to 10 pips. If it goes into your 40 pips, you move SL to 20 pips. If it goes to 80 pips, you move your SL to 40 pips. Then the remaining is to go ahead and hit your last TP. Now, in the multi-level take profit, you say, hey, anytime it hits my 40 pips, I take 70%. Anytime it hits my 80 pips, I take 20%. Anytime it hits 10 pips, the last one will always go and hit my last percentage. Now, we have other couple of ones we could have learned about, which is the trailing stop, deep trailing stop, break even, and multi-level stop losses, so on and so on. And we'll also have another strategy called adding positions. But I'm talking about this one right now for you to understand that management is more than just 0.01. Management is the ability for you to do the same thing that is working for you over and over again. That means when you go into your car, the same way you will manage your movement to give you safety is the same way you will manage your movement all the time. So the goal of creating a system is to help you to do the same thing that worked for you yesterday to work for you today. It doesn't have to be a system that makes somebody comfortable. Same Lamborghinis, no, same Mercedes-Benz that people drive, people managing differently. Some people go top speed. Some people actually go in a way that people say, hey, why are you driving like my grandma? But at the end of the day, the end goal is not about the speed we go or how we go it. That is your thingy. But the end goal is to get to the destination safe by making sure the car is all right. So we started this call in a very simple way for you to understand that if you want to be able to duplicate results that is working for you yesterday and today, you need to have a system. The system is personal. This is something I want to do on this call. Systems are personal. We cannot generalize it just because it's working for you. I cannot generalize it because it's working for me. But then there is supposed to be a way that you create your system. Those are the steps I've given to you. So when you come to the default management system, it is the SL and the TP. When you come into the step and stop, it means anytime the trade goes at least into some profit, secure some bag. The multi-level take profit simply means you are closing percentages to make sure even if the trade reverses, because this one does not mean you have taken the profit. This one means that it should be able to secure your profit in case anything happens. This one is you now closing partials to make sure that your percentage is growing to the extent that you want. These three fundamentals that I will teach you today, which is the default management, the step and stop, multi-level take profit, is very important. If you are able to implement this systematically, that means when you go into the market, you have a range, as my brother was saying, risk-reward ratio. Risk to reward ratio is one of, to me personally, I will take time one day and really teach about that. It's, to me personally, I feel like it's one of the most delusionalized conversations a lot of people have. Risk to reward ratio is not a trader who is the best that uses the less risk. I can assure you, one of the greatest traders that we know, some of them even does 1:1. The end goal is that you verify the type of strategy that you use. So the reality is, if you want to be able to make sure anytime you go into the market, you know your strategy. There are people who will risk only 10 pips to go for 300 pips, and they can do it. But if you show it to somebody else, they might be confused. So when you sit down to draw your system, make sure the number one thing you do is to do your self-assessment, to know who you are, to be able to know the type of money you have. Because if you give a certain amount of management to someone that the balance is $50 to $100, it is very difficult for them to apply the same management approach, but eventually maybe they can. So management approaches like this, they are personal. But when you understand the entire system of how to create it, you can now put in your own personal system connecting your strategy to it. So stop loss and take profit, make sure you have a range. Doesn't have to be exceeding. Don't remove your SL just because the trade is reversing. Step in, stop. Make sure you secure some profit. Multi-level take profit. Make sure you're closing some partials in percentages. In percentages simply means that you are thinking like a businessman. That is all that it means. So guys, with that all being said, to get a recap right now, the first thing that you need to understand is you don't want to end up having analysis paralysis. Believe me. Sometimes people will say, John, is it okay right now? I know that sometimes it's going to look some way, but I want to show something right now. Guys, drop some number ones in the chat. I wasn't going to do this, but I want to do this right now. I want to do something right now. Are you guys with me? Drop some number ones. A lot of people don't know this, but let me show you something right now. If in case you want to be able to find out to see if this guy is capping or whatever, I wasn't going to show this right now, but let me show you something right now. If in case you want to be able to go here, when you go here, you can even go there and search this one right now. And when you come to this bit right here, one thing I want you to do is this. This is something that you can see. That you see it. At the end of the day, this, where do you guys see this? I don't want to, for the sake of disclaimer reasons, I don't want anyone to go searching and doing all of that. But I want to make sure that you guys are seeing this. Are you guys seeing it? Drop some number ones in the chat. Perfect. This is what type of platform is this? I want to know that you know what platform this is. What type? I want you to write it now. What type of platform is this? It's not like my Facebook. This is MT4. This is MT4. So when you want to, if sometimes you are there, you want to know if Clifford is doing exactly what he's doing, you can go to MT4. As you can see, verified, everything is there. Live account, every single thing. I want to stop sharing this right now, but at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to go around searching me and saying, hey, Cliff, no, don't do that. That is not why I'm promoting this. I want you to understand something. Sometimes people think that what we teach, we don't follow it. You can see the reliability. I'm a verified trader on MT4. I don't talk about these things because it's not necessary. So these things that we teach it because at the end of the day, it works. So one of the first things that you need to understand is MQL5. MQL5 is a community for traders. It's not MT5, it's MQL5. Okay, if you don't know it, please write it down. So when you go to MQL5 is a community for traders, both some of them who are verified, some of them who is not. It's linked to your MT5 because you use MT5. It's also linked to MT4. It is a community for traders. So MQL5 is a community for traders. Does that make sense? Perfect. So at the end of the day, if you, just like how when you go to TradingView, we have verified traders just like that. MT4, MT5 is the same thing. That's right. So, but then that's what I'm saying, that is not the purpose of this call. I want you to see something that there is a saying that if you want to trust a man, you need to find out about him. So I am not just saying this here for you to tell Clifford is throwing our money. You saw the reliability. High reliability. Why? Because you can rely on the management approach I use. It makes sense. So when somebody's asking you next time, say, hey, who is your educator? You can tell them, listen, he is even verified on MT4. You are not capping, it's true. They can find out. The account is live. You don't need to go tell them that maybe it's live. You will see the MT5 if ever I'm doing something. Does that make sense? It's very important. So guys, look, with that all being said, there is more that you are going to learn from this phase that you are in. And at the end of the day, it is very important that you understand that, and I get it. I get it. There is so much information out there. The end goal of everything that we are teaching here is so that you don't get lost. Believe me. Now, the system that you have to be able to follow what you are learning, my main part way is very important to me is management. Without management, you won't survive. I don't know how to say this more. And please, every single person on this call, I know that we have taken time because these calls happens once in a while, as John already told you. So I made sure we're going to take the necessary times. I'm done. If there are any questions, I will take it on the call. And then just 3 minutes. I don't want to I just want to use 3 minutes to get to 12:55. John will close the call and I think we should be done. But at the end of the day, if you have any questions, you can ask. If you want to verify anything, you can verify, because I know sometimes on these sessions when people come, they're like, hey, do you even have, what do you call it, my FS book and all that? But all these things are there. If you ask, you will see them. Okay, so that you can be able to trust the process. Let's see the question in the chat for 1 second. Hold on for a second. Where is it? Stop loss range is always changing. So how then do I find SL range? Very good question. You can write this down. And then these questions can come on sessions like advanced session with your educator that you follow. The reason why I can't teach this right now is because I want to take questions based on something I can answer now, because to teach you SL range means I should share my screen and show you about some higher high, lower lows and all of that. And unfortunately, I can do that. So this question is very important. You should find out how. But then at the end of the day, if you ask your educator, I'm pretty much sure they will explain to you. Now, when you find, so this is the information I will give concerning that question. When you find your SL range, the SL is just pips. The LSL range is just pips. See, someone can lose $10 with 100 pip stop loss. True or false? You can. Just using the right loss size makes you lose the same amount of money you want to lose anyways. So the stop loss range is not based on your desire, actually, to be honest. It's based on the market structure and the strategy you use. So let's say, for example, GBP, JPY, with the strategy my friend here in the group was using in raising and all that, he was trading CAD JPY. He woke up every single Tokyo session to trade CAD JPY. What he did was he was able to find a range of stop loss based on market structure point with 10 to 15 pips on a 5 minutes time frame. And he was able to catch 40, 30 pips, sometimes even 80 pips on a good market day. This was what he followed to get the kind of results he got. So LSL range, depending on the currency pair, also matters. The volatility, does that make sense? So I believe this question will be answered to you very well if in case you asked this on a previous call. If in case you come on, I think I'll see you on my call. In fact, ask me this question on the previous session. All right, I've seen you on the calls. I think the Tuesday ones you come on, if I'm not mistaken. Ask me, I will answer that question for you. Is there any other question again? If not, I'm going to pass on the call. Guys, if you enjoyed this session, you can just drop some number ones in the chat. I just really want you to understand something right now, that if you ask the right question and you're able to take them to get the right information, believe me, just pass this on. This information, watch it again if in case Mr. John posts this in your groups. Watch it again over and over again. When you're watching it, open your heart. Open your heart. You see, one of the things is that when you come on calls like this, if you're not careful, because some of us are naturally smart, if you're not careful, it might really have a mental block. Does that make sense? Because I might say something you might have heard before, but just open your heart and say, you know what, he might say something that can change my entire mindset in this industry. So guys, with that all being said, thank you so much, John. I'm going to pass the call back on to you again. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to, oh, hey, I see all the leaders. Oh, hey, Hey John, can I say hi to the leaders right now on this call? I thought this call
Absolutely.
was for the people, not for the next leaders. So we have so hey Jama, I see you right there. Oh my days. Melly, I see you. Wow. Even Leo. Hey Leo, I've not been on Instagram for a while. I used to watch those your skits. Very funny one. You didn't know Leo is very funny. Hey, Mr. Steven. See, guys, this call is not normal. This call is not normal again anymore. All right. So, guys, really, I appreciate you all for coming on this call. I really sincerely appreciate it, John, for having me. So I'm going to pass the call back to you now. If there is anything you want to ask me for the sake of your people, I'm here. If it's not enough. So, guys, please, you can go to the the MT4. Sometimes if you want to see if you are following some management, you can see everything I do. It's there. It's public. You can see it. But then at the end of the day, thank you so much, everyone. I'm passing it back to John. John, over to you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, firstly, one thing I want to say is thank you so much, Clifford, for the wealth of knowledge that you have passed on to each and every one of us today. Can we all just be in unity and show some gratitude on the chats? I genuinely mean it. Information like this, people pay thousands, if not millions of pounds to really sit under leaderships like this, just so that they can learn. In fact, people fight to be in certain rooms like this just so that they can equip themselves on information like this. And you're being fed completely for free without being charged. All you had to do was turn up today and really learn under Clifford Chequona's leadership. So Clifford, we want to just publicly say thank you so much. You're not getting paid for this whatsoever. You came on your own accord and said, you know what? Just like we discussed, for the people, we wanted to make sure that we can deliver an excellent training. And I believe that's something that we have definitely done today. So from myself to every single person, we want to say thank you. One thing I would say that I definitely took back from this call was you said, according to the law of finances, your money grows when you grow. And I think that's important. A lot of people struggle to make money because they don't know how to manage money. They don't know how to go about, being disciplined when it comes to money. And like you've given so much examples, it's just like anything else in life, whether you're going to work, 8 o'clock, you have to be there. You turn up without being late to get your money right. It's the same thing when it comes to trading. So there's a lot, I believe, that we've taken away from this. And I really hope that the next time we have our call, people can share their success stories about how they've grown their portfolios and, what they've taken back from this call. So this call will be available for everyone to recap, to go back, because I know sometimes you have to go back on the same information. It comes by repetition. So Clifford, thank you so much. I don't know yet. We'll discuss if we're going to do a part 2, right? If we want to give the people the part 2, but I believe so far so good. The last 2 hours has been very informative. So guys, can we just please go on the chat? Can we just say thank you once more, show some gratitude?
Yeah, and if they want to have a part 2, we need to have the vote now then. Because if we need to have a part 2, then we need to have a vote now and see if we can bring out the part 2. But then if we do a part 2, they will need to bless people too as well. Just make sure, you can invite. The person doesn't have to be in the team, I guess. They can just invite people because the goal is,
Absolutely, 100%.
Sure.
We might do part 2. I can see the chat going crazy right now. So people are like, please, part 2. Let's go for the part 2. We might even make it more interesting. We might do a giveaway. We never know, right? But there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be happening on part 2. So I'm excited. We'll discuss it and we'll make sure that we can deliver. All right. So guys, on that note, I just want to say, enjoy your Saturday. Okay. Take on board what has been given. Apply the knowledge. Okay, it's one thing to take the information, is another to apply it. You guys have all been given homework. Create a system. Create yourself a system. Okay, if you want somebody to hold you accountable, speak to somebody that's already in the academy. Join forces, be in unity, and let's make this work. Okay, this year really is all about generating more income for all ourselves, and doing some remarkable things that we can look back and say, you know what, I'm so glad that I was in sessions like this. Okay, so on that note, thank you so much, Clifford, again. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and let's have a good remainder of the month. Okay, God bless as we tune out. Bye-bye.
Pull up in a beam, clean and tall. Don't foster, serious and not a big time player. Trip too big and ganja. I went flexer, yeah. Tina said gym, yeah. Too hot like a heater. My neck don't froze like winter. Don't bet it on liquor, yeah. Shades on the picture. MJ on the sheet, thriller. Fully vibes every night. Yes, none tolerant. Coaster, yeah. I get star like Forex, huh. Pull up in a beam. Too much to clean and tall. I don't force. Serious another, yeah. A big time player. A crib too big and ganja. I went flexer, yeah. Tina said gym, yeah. Too hot like a heater. My neck done froze like winter. Don't bet it on liquor, yeah. Shades on the picture. MJ on the sheet, thriller. Funny vibes every night. I forget. Recupera diverse. To the full set, Otama Yakajet, Elevana Babades. Oh yes, my babies are oh yes. Oh yes, my babies are oh yes. If for the fit like a dom, Perriona, to make a dive. I forget. From Conegona to Anima. Never Sana Kaida. Mr. Young Conehida. You go be my nana, I go be your teacher. From Cologana to Anima, Never Sana Akaira.